What's up, YouTubers? It's your boy Polly C coming at you with another episode of Carpet Cleaning Guys Vlogs. And in today's episode, we're doing two simple commercial bedrooms in this apartment unit. I am going to use my pump-up sprayer, not the one with the wheels. This is my old Scott 2-gallon sprayer that it does have a lithium battery operated power unit that goes on the top. There's my boy. He's hanging out with me, staying off the carpets like a good old guy. And anyway, I'm using the pump up. This, however, is the new Microthin. And these I'm trying out for End Cap Store. These are double stitched and they're kind of stitched like a propeller, so they last longer instead of the pentagram. You can see there. And if you decide to order these are Galaxy Mop units, but they're on endcapstore.com. There's always a link in the description, and you want to look for Microthins. You can see it is a microfiber, which is a poly blend, polypropylene and nylon. Gives you the instructions. The edges are also double stitched, so they last a long time. Now they are thin, and that causes them to spin a lot faster on the Oreck orbiter, which is really good because some pads, will bog down the small motor on the Oreck. But I'll put the pad on just a little off center, and that'll show the real movement of the pad. You'll see that it's actually orbiting, but it's orbiting at a high speed. There's my orb, I was gonna call it Orbot. There's my Oreck orbiter. Oh yeah, with my custom label. This one's almost 2.5 years old. This thing takes a beating and just keeps ticking. I can't believe it. I do have the Challenger OP driver on there. If you go to challengerop.com, it says 10-inch driver, wooden Velcro driver. The 10 inch is for the cup size, so don't worry about it. It'll fit your 12-inch Oreck. All right, now I'm gonna fill this up just a little more with some water, which I probably won't use. It's pretty surprising, and the reason I've been playing with these pump-up sprayers versus my Works sprayer is I have been noticing that the Works does lay it down pretty thick. And I don't want to do that. I would rather put a lighter coat down, clean it, and not be happy and spray another coat and use a second pad. That way I avoid over-wetting. And that's one good thing if you're using the swirly machine, which I'm going to be featuring here again. When you shower feed and you use like the regular scrubbing pad, 3M pads or the Neptunes or the hog hair, you actually distribute less solution by shower feeding, and you can control that as well. It's always been kind of a pet peeve of mine trying to figure out how to regulate that. But I do think that it is a big factor. I think somebody looked at one of my videos and noticed that I put down, almost 2 gallons or something in one room. Now, granted, it was a big room. It was 25 by 25, so that's what, 500 square foot. So, I put almost the full 2 gallons down, but it was also filthy, and I also went over it with 3 pads. But I will say that kind of got me looking at, the spray and watching what was happening. And this particular one, you could see it's a little more translucent, so you could see where the level is. Like that new rolling 3-gallon one, you can't really see where your water levels are. This is the tip. I haven't used this one in a while, so I have a feeling we're going to be cleaning it out. I can't tell without pulling it out if there's any debris in there, but kind of like the old days with the steam cleaning wand, I used to have to pull out the jets and clean we call those T-jets, clean those jets out on the wand just to make sure there was no hard water alkaline minerals built up in there. So we'll take a look and see what happens. I'll start here in the closet. And this thing does put out a really good mist, and you could see it's not an even mist. It is putting out, however, but we're gonna take it, finish this little section since I started. We'll take it apart and I'll show you how you clean out the jet. And any particular sprayer you have will have some sort of an orifice in it, or a hole at the end that could get built up with, even the polymers, they dry down to a brittle crystal. I think that's what's occurring here. Is I'm using Awesome Endcap, and the last time I used it, I used Awesome Endcap. You can see I just pulled the end off. It does have a little gasket, rubber gasket, and then here's the tip. Not sure if this came with it or if I ordered this on Amazon. You could see it says T-Jet. I think it's a 1.0, but you can always hold it up and look in the light, and you see it's not an even. You can see something lodged in there, probably a piece of polymer that dried from the last time I used it, since I let it sit for a couple months or whatever it was. So let me get it situated and I'll show you. Yeah, you could see if it will zoom in or show you. You see that little piece? To me, it looks like a bit of dried crystallized polymer. If it is, it's not going to budge. We'll find out. Got that nasty cut on my wrist that's now healing. Let's see there. You'll see it didn't come all the way out, so we're going to have to work on that. About that cut, my dog, oh my gosh, I had him out at the park, and I was picking up the dog doo, and his strap was across my wrist, and he just took off running, and the strap just sliced my wrist open. Okay, now you could see, I don't know if you guys can see that through the light. I always hold it up to the sun or a light source. Let me see if you could see this way as well. Yeah, get it to clear. The little piece of debris is gone. You can blow through there too. You don't want to stick a needle or something sharp in there. If you start doing that, you could change the angle and the size of the hole, and then it won't spray as nice as it should. So let me show you. You see that nice even flow? And that's plenty of water coming out, plenty of solution. This is Awesome Endcap in there. I'll go ahead and pre-moisten the pad and finish pre-spraying the carpet. In my last video, you saw me vacuum it with the Eureka Power Speed. I have been using that around my house, and I had noticed it was just blowing out all kinds of dust through the front lower part where the motor is, and I was like, nah, we can't use that anymore. That thing is just going to make us sick. And I ended up ordering on Amazon. I did put a link in the description of that video. You can cut its activated carbon filter, and of course I didn't have the rubber band the way it should be. It looked like it slid down in the video, but I just put it right along the top, and it holds perfect. You could come up with some other way of doing it. I tried cutting a small piece and putting it in the housing, and I think that was going to cause it to overheat, so I was like, nah, I won't do that. But I did test it in the sunlight in my own home, and it was not spewing out any of that dust. It was getting trapped in that carbon filter. So look at that handsome dude. He is so good. He knows the rules. And even if he did walk on the carpet, he's very, very clean. I bathe him regularly, and he also takes flea and tick pills, so none of those problems. Nails are nice and trimmed, so he won't cause any problems. In this account, they love me, so they don't care. They like when I show up and come rolling out with my wagon out of my van, and I have the dog with me. They're like all excited to see him, and they have treats for him, and he's a good boy. All right, and he'd rather come with me than sit at home. You could see there the overspray. That just proves that that thing's letting out quite a bit of solution. You could spray it on the concrete and see what I'm talking about. Very, very even spray, but I think, without having as much torque as my works or as much PSI, I can put down less. Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm doing, 10 or 11 room house, I'm definitely going to use the works. I'm not pumping nothing. So you can see I've got it a little off center, but what that does is the pad is orbiting, but usually when the pad's on there centered and it's orbiting, it makes it look like it's going slow. So if it's just a little off center, you can actually see the speed of the pad. This pad is moving wonderfully. It's not binding. And it will clean fantastic. I think that's why, I've always moved away from the original Oreck pad, but, it's a poly blend, and I think that they use that pad, the makers of the Oreck, because it needs a little poly to flex, or to slide along the carpet, I should say. I was using a small CD disc, a mini disc, and a piece of Velcro, and using it like some guys use a glider on the bigger machines, and it was working great. But this way, you don't have to use a glider or a disc. I will be ordering these. These are 13-inch Microthins. There's always a link in the description to my source if you want to use the same products and same pads as me. And equipment, minus the Oreck Orbiter, but you can get supplies for the Oreck Orbiter. And what I typically will do is I'll go across horizontally, do maybe a 4-foot section all the way across the room. Then I'll come back and I'll go vertically, and that pushes the pad, orbits it throughout all the fibers, and picks up the most soil. I believe I'm going to purchase another Oreck Orbiter here soon. I have a white and black, or a white and blue one that my helper tends to use in the summertime. I think he has it at his house, which is no big deal. And then this one, like I said, I've had this for 2.5 years. I broke the top off of it and ended up putting just a screen on there, kind of gluing it on. These things just take a beating and they just keep on going. It's crazy. I have probably made in 2 years with this. Gosh, I'd want to say this damn machine had to make me $100,000 on some of the jobs I do, because I do a lot of small commercial work with this, or if I get jobs in between my regular schedule where someone calls and they say, hey, I just have 2 rooms. You going around the beds, and I'm already in the area, I'll swing in or stop by in between jobs and pull out the Oreck Orbiter, spray it, and go. I ask them, hey, I'm going to squeeze you in. Can you please vacuum? And sometimes I drop below my minimum charge, help them out. Gives me a little extra lunch money or extra money for whatever. You can see it's looking beautiful. You will start to see some buckling on this carpet. I'm sure you've seen me clean this account. They have several different apartment complexes, and they all have this style carpet. So I do all of their locations, which you could see looking good. I did a little twist and move in the middle, scrubbing. And there he is. Is he awake? Oh yeah, he's got the same little goatee as his as his boy, Polly's C, and that's Doggy C. How about that? Oh man, look at that, looking great. Well, there you go. You got to see a little cleaning of the T-Jet. That was a bonus. There's the buckles that I was talking about. That's just expansion. It'll continue to happen because we have high humidity up here in the northwest state of Washington. It should be happening over here. Yeah, you can start to see it there. This account knows that it will go away, no problem. They've seen it many times. All right, so this unit's just about ready. Me and the dog are gonna split. Got my little buggy, $39.99 at Walmart. It folds up. Awesome little wagon. I already pre-vacuumed, put the vacuum back away, so here we go. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Again, I'm Polly C, signing out.